You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject I have coming up for you is Francesco Paoli. He's the excellent drummer, vocalist, and it turns out guitarist in Italian symphonic death metal outfit Fleshgod Apocalypse. Now, the reason for the conversation is to talk up their excellent album, Valeno, which is due to be released in late May, the 24th to be precise, 2019. So let's have a listen to what Francesco has to say. Here we go.
Hey man. Hi Andrew.
What's been happening of the Australian media contingent? Have we been treating you well?
You treating me very well, but I'm full of interviews. That's why, you were calling me and we're closing another interviews. It's amazing. I mean, I got a lot of people calling, supporting the band.
Right.
Got the best compliments for the new album. Very happy with what I'm doing right now. I'm resting a little bit, but at the same time, it was like a very, very. I feel blessed, that there is all this attention on the band right now. So thank you for calling me as well.
No problem at all, mate. That's a great response to my introduction, I must say, because I think sometimes musicians may get into a bit of a pattern, if you like, of expecting results, especially musicians with a global fan base like what you do. But I know you've had some trial and tribulation with band members leaving, and you've had to replace band members for live performances and all the rest of it. But it is so refreshing, Francesco, to hear that you've got that attitude, mate. I've got to hand it to you. So congratulations on keeping the faith and the enthusiasm.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
No worries.
That's it's really was supposed to be in the end. So it was the natural evolution of the band, probably.
Yeah, I can see that. And you know why I can see that? I reckon Valeno, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's Valeno or Valeno?
Yeah, Valeno is perfect.
Valeno. I reckon it's one of your best albums, and I'm not just saying that. I think that I've always admired your drumming. I'm sure you're aware that a lot of people in Australia know the band because of your incredible drumming.
Thank you.
You've done just about everything else on this album, haven't you, except for the lead guitars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's but I always done all the album. I will always took care of the drums and then guitars, and of course in the first album I was playing guitars and also vocals, and then in this album I took care of vocals once again. Fabio, the new guy, took care of recording the solos, and then Francesco, of course, all the orchestrations, piano, and we got Veronica as always, and Paolo doing click vocals and bass on the piano on the album. So it's I still, if the point is that am I still drumming in the album? Yes, I am.
Well, if you weren't, I tell you, you'd be disappointing a lot of people, because you remind me, your style. And you may have had this comparison before, so tell me if you have. But Raymond Herrera, the original Fear Factory drummer,
is one of the Manufacturer is one of the first albums I ever heard. I first listened to. It came out. I was 10. And when I got it, I was like at the middle school. I was like, "Shit, what's going on here?" And it was such a groundbreaking album. So that drummer changed a lot the point of view of especially the style of many drummers. It was a big influence for me. So it's Fantastic. A big compliment. Thank you.
No worries at all. Now let's talk about Valeno again. Because I've said I reckon it's one of your best albums. It's certainly one of your best sounding albums, meaning that whoever helped you with production really knew what was going on there too, or they followed your instructions very clearly too, because it is a wonderful sounding album. You can play it over speakers in the car, you can play it over fairly small speakers, iPhone speakers, and it holds up, and that's so important for extreme metal, I think. But
yes.
Is that, so you must have spent a lot of time on the sound?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the sound. We spent a lot of time on songwriting, trying to find the perfect balance. And also we went to different direction this time. And in songwriting as well, we wrote the songs in a different way. We, spent much more time in collecting the ideas before going into the proper songwriting session. So when we got there, we had a lot of ideas collected in almost 2 years, and then we picked up the best stuff and we made songs out of it. And also we wanted to go in a different direction sound wise, so have a like more realistic sound, more organic sound. That's why we used like all acoustic instruments, and we tracked all the instruments. So we got a string quintet, a real choir. We got different performance for all the different instruments like bagpipe or for example or the mandolin or percussions. And then so it was we started well. We had like very good material when we went up to Denmark to mix it, and then we met this incredible guy, this super talented producer, which is Jacob Anson, that did a crazy, unbelievable work on it. So it's the sound. He spent time producing the album, but with his own personal taste, and he did a great job because we still got this like epic, massive sound, like very Fleshgod, sound. At the same time, we came back some of the power and aggressiveness that we lost lately. And then this is somehow I do believe this is the best production, and it did a great job for real.
Hey, how did the tour with Pete and the Hypocrisy guys go? Because you would have been able to try out a few of the songs from Valeno, I imagine. Yeah. So how did the tour go with Pete? Because I've had a chat to Pete. He's one of my favourite interview subjects and musicians, actually.
Yeah, it was the tour was outstanding. Probably the best tour we've done so far in United States. It is we got like very successful results, and we sold it out some very crazy places like New York. We packed houses in Chicago, Los Angeles, and also even the small clubs were very great. Like it was fantastic. The relationship between the bands, like together with them, they are very they're almost brothers to us. They are very, very cool people.
Cool.
I spent like a time of my life with Thomas. So I've been to Grand Canyon with Hork, and Peter himself is a super nice guy. So it's been very successful. And also the response of the people to the new songs. We were touring before the album release, but still we were playing a couple of songs of the new album, a couple of singles, and the feedback was outstanding. It was great. So I really loved it, and the people were going crazy for these new songs. So it's a good sign.
It is a good sign. And did you have some T-shirts printed up with the excellent album cover from Valeno on them? Because I love that Salvador Dali surrealist thing you've got going on.
The cover art, it's great. I think that this is probably the best cover art we ever had. Travis did a great job on it, and of course it has different layers. We started from like his idea, and then we added like we were asking for more like. Let me say like a more progressive rock cover art, something where all the symbolism and all these little icons that are strictly related to the specific song. So he started adding elements, and we came up with this like very weird and complex artwork. But he has like an overall meaning, like which is this this man that carries this big burden, which is represented by this huge dying elephant, and has like this metaphorical meaning. But at the same time, as soon as the songs will come up with the lyrics, the people will reconnect all the different symbols on the cover to each lyric. So it's going to be even tricky and interesting to go through the album for the meaning itself and stuff. And Travis did a great job also, like artistical wise. He's a super nice dude. He's very dedicated in what he does, even if it is done like some of the most important cover art in metal. He'll work with Death, he'll work with Slayer, he'll work with Opeth, he'll work with anybody. So it's great. But still, it takes every work he does for every band very seriously. So it's been very inspiring to work with such a good guy. It was super nice. and talented as fuck, man. What he's done is great.
Yeah, look, it reminded me of a cross between Rain and Blood and Images and Words by Dream Theater. So the first reference being Slayer, of course. You know, it has that vibe, and that's why I thought on the T-shirt. What I've always liked about what Slayer did too with those albums is a bit like what you're saying. You had to sort of look for the references through the music, and I'm so glad you've done that. And that way, you certainly. I don't think you could describe Valeno as a concept album, but there are themes throughout it that you can have a look and reference on the front cover, and that's really cool to me as a fan, because the problem these days is, and I've said this many times on my podcast series, is that you don't really get to see the album artwork properly these days. It's this little tiny icon in the corner, isn't it? So when bands like yourself go to such lengths to ensure that the artwork is on point with the music, man, I can tell your fans really appreciate that.
Thank you. But the album is as a concept like all the other albums. I mean, like, it's a different concept because it's not a narrative concept, so it's not the story. Like, for example, we was a little bit more philological. We based Labyrinth on the Labyrinth myth, you know, of Knossos Labyrinth myth, or King was like a little bit more like a story, you know, and every character metaphorically were representing a man behavior, you know, but for Valeno is a little different thing, you know. Was the concept is you know, the songs, all the songs talks about the relationship within the man and the nature intended, that what surrounds the man, so what is outside, and so natural environment. At the same time, they talk about the relationship with the inner nature, the human nature, so this finite nature. And while writing, you know, you especially if you go deep in the meaning, you know, you see that this poisoning thing, since Valeno is the Italian word for venom, for poisoning, you know, this poisoning. Yeah, this poisoning thing is always there. So whatever you talk about, for example, you talk about the relationship between the man, something is not even metaphorical, like pollution, for example, or the way we exploit human resources, or at the same time, it can be like the way the man deal with his inner fragilities, and how we try to find painkillers for it. So the output of this analysis is talking about, for example, drug addiction, or whatever, like for example, thinking about you know, the nature, how it manifests itself, and how the man reacts to these manifestations, and sometimes he cannot find an explanation for it, and then he starts building some kind of superstructure to try to control and to put this into a grid, to put some laws. So it becomes religion, it becomes philosophy of living, it becomes all this stuff, you know, as something that we built, you know, to control what we cannot explain. And at the same time, you know, we are technically poisoning ourselves, because we are giving us some kind of rules that we think that are, you know, the way to achieve a status in life. But in the end, you know, everything is way simpler. We should just respect who we are and what we have, you know, around us, which is nature. And so that's why we use this. And Valeno is technically an album about this constant self-destruction, self-sabotage, operated by man, you know, all the time. So it's that's it. And the word was perfect, because with its metaphorical and not non-metaphorical meanings, you was connecting all the songs, all the lyrics, reunite everything under one term, and it was great for this, you know. So I'm really happy that people enjoy this nerdy, approach on the album, you know. But it's, you know, it's our way to. It's a way to express ourselves artistically.
Yeah, very well put, mate. You're a smart fella. You've articulated a lot there, mate, and it all drills back very nicely to your music. So I think I've got time for one more question, if I can sneak it in just before we head off. But
yeah, no problem.
Australia, mate, you've obviously got a fan base down here, and you've heard from us. So what kind of interactions have you had with Australians over the years?
Well, we love to go there, and like we've been there twice, and every time was great. Like last time, it was fantastic. I really love those places because they're very far away, and at the same time, so different and so wild. So
Yep.
I'm really, really impressed of the natural environment there and everything. Everything looks so cool there, and so we love it. And that was also it was great to come there and perform, because the people are really into the shows. They want to be part of the shows, and
Yep.
so we really can't wait to come back. We also have a lot of friends down there, a lot of bands that they are super cool people. So we're really looking forward to come back down there as soon as possible with this new album, playing a longer set list, have a little bit more production.
Indeed.
So every time you go there, you get more opportunities to grow artistical wise as well. So I really can't wait. And yes, it's been almost 2 years now, and so I do believe it's time to go back.
Mate, a lot of fans down here can't wait to see you. This is a cracking album, as I said, and good luck with it. Good luck with the tours, and mate, have a great career, because you've already had a great one so far.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mate. Okay.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
Goodbye, man.
Catch you.
Goodbye.
Bye. You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that interview subject was Francesco Paoli, who's in the Italian symphonic death metal outfit Fleshgod Apocalypse. Thank you so much for listening.